This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're gonna acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to this week's main event review post Backlash. Really excited to kind of get this review underway for you guys. Now, for those that have normally tuned into my main event reviews, when there is a PLE, I normally tend to review the actions and matches that happen in the PLE, only because the stuff that main event show for Raw and SmackDown have probably happened based on the PLE as well. But first, we'll obviously start with the main event matches, and then we'll get on to, Backlash and basically the aftermath of that. For some of the Raw spots and segments, they weren't related to what happened in Backlash as well, so I'll review that in this episode too. But again, once again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll get straight into it. So for the first match, we had Maxine Dupree taking on Zoe Stark, who just seems to be losing members each week. Now she's on her own. There's no Shayna Baszler. There's no Sonya Deville. There is no PFC. Zoe Stark needs to find her own way as a single star in WWE. And she gets a good victory against Maxine Dupree via a roll-up. So maybe there are some plans for her in the future as well. What we did see with Maxine Dupree was that she was accompanied by Natalia, so it seems as though that tag team is still going on there. And again, Maxine Dupree continues to get pretty decent pops on main event as well. So definitely looking to get her in-ring experience up a notch with these main event programmings. And hopefully, again, as mentioned, that can be translated onto potential Raw or SmackDown as well. These two could be gunning for the title in the future. I think there's something there with these two where we've got a veteran in Natalia and a young and upcoming star in Maxine Dupree who hasn't really showcased her in-ring ability but has the fans behind her. I think that a loss here doesn't really hurt her too much because of the fact that it is on main event and it was a roll-up victory. But again, seeing those two potentially fight for the tag team championships would be something I would like to see, especially given that there is going to be no competition for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But just thinking about it now, Liv Morgan is filming for a movie, so I don't know what they're going to be doing with the titles. I feel as though they should relinquish them. I don't know how long Liv Morgan's going to take. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 weeks, but if it's anything longer than a month, Jade Cargill had to almost relinquished the title because of her injury until Naomi stepped in. So it might have to be the same thing for those two as well. But we'll keep tabs on it. There's definitely a potential face tag team there for them to verse. So we'll keep that in the loop as well. We then get on to the second match on main event, and that was Ludwig Kaiser taking on Tyler Bate. No Pete Dunne in appearance. It does seem that Pete Dunne was originally a heel before Tyler Bates' appearance, and the New Catch Republic all of a sudden seems to come back to normal. Again, I want to see Pete Dunne turning on Tyler Bate. I think it will make the program interesting for both of them. It's just very hard for them to get a spot on Raw at the moment, given that it's only 2 hours and a half and there's so much going on. And as for Kaiser, this is his third straight match on main event. He ends up getting the victory here with a sort of elbow submission. And there was a segment that was cut out on Raw where he basically was saying that he's tired of being overlooked and not getting opportunities. So I'm really hoping that Kaiser does get an opportunity to kind of get back on Raw as well. He's clearly good enough to be there. In-ring abilities have been excellent. His performances as a heel, he's very dislikable the way his character is. So that's something that's a good plus. And I think that should be showcased on Raw as well. I think he was a workhorse last year, as I mentioned in previous episodes. He did very well for the company. He was always there, never missed a beat. And I feel like he deserves to go to the next step. Again, as mentioned, maybe something with Gunther would be the right time for now. Especially seeing that Gunther has sort of gone down a bit, especially getting tapped out to Jey Uso and versing Pat McAfee, which we'll get to at the end. Kaiser can definitely kind of use that as a way to say that Gunther's changed or has gone soft, and that way have a feud between the two of them. But these are just some ideas that I'm having based on what they're doing on Main Event as well. Kaiser's not doing anything at the moment. The one thing that would be significant for him is that. And then on the contrary, Tyler Bate has been back for a month now, and they probably haven't done anything for him. It would be good for him and Pete Dunne to maybe have a program there too. I do love to see the spin move of Tyler Bate when he is picking up his opponents and going on a bit of a merry-go-round there. That was awesome to see. And it's funny that he ends up using technically an AA, but they're not going to say that, but finishing off with that. If John Cena was to do that, that would ultimately win him a lot of matches. And like it's had in the past. But I just thought I'd put my 2 cents in on that. We then get the segment on Raw, as mentioned at the start of the episode, because this didn't happen at Backlash. There is no match for the World Heavyweight Championship on Backlash. We're able to cover this. We had the main event between Seth Rollins and Jey Uso, which on the program it doesn't show, but basically at the start of Raw, Seth Rollins basically baits Jey Uso to defend the title for the main event, which Jey Uso does accept. And as the match went on, I didn't see how these two would be able to lose, given that Seth Rollins had just begun this faction and Jey Uso just begun his title run. So there was definitely going to be somewhat of a disturbance or a disqualification for this match. And that did happen with CM Punk entering the ring there towards the end, which was good. We did have Bron Breakker then attack everyone. Oh, this happened before, sorry. So Sami Zayn did come out actually before that to try help Jey Uso out, given that there was a 2-on-1 disadvantage with Bron Breakker trying to distract the referees and Jey Uso to get Seth Rollins the title. Sami Zayn did come in, and then CM Punk came in and pretty much disqualified Seth Rollins and allowing Jey Uso to keep the title, which was probably the right decision. Obviously, there's going to be a program with CM Punk and supposedly Sami Zayn, probably filling in the role for Roman Reigns, who's right absent at the moment and is obviously part-time. So there might be a program with the 4 of these guys, and we'll have to see what happens there. As for Jey Uso, he gets protected here, which was really good. I'm sort of glad that they didn't just hand the championship straight to Seth Rollins. We know that's probably going to happen eventually, but it would have been extremely surprising to see that happen so quick. So Jey Uso will have the chance to defend the title against Logan Paul, who did end up coming out after Raw was off air, throwing a punch to Jey Uso and then kind of escaping backstage as well. So it did make sense that they were setting up this program before this match, for the match to go as a finish as a no disqualification, or as a disqualification, sorry, and Jey Uso keeping his title, and Seth Rollins focusing on this new faction and the feud between himself and CM Punk, and now Sami Zayn. So lots to cover there. Hopefully the next few weeks kind of spices things up there. I don't really want to see a PLE match between Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker with CM Punk or Sami Zayn yet. I don't think it's necessary for main event. I think they can kind of get that started for Money in the Bank. And look out for Bron Breakker there. He is the favourite based on... I look at a lot of sport betting, and it looks like Bron Breakker is the favourite, whether you believe that or not. But look out for Bron Breakker at Money in the Bank, because he is a big favourite. And another big favourite is Karrion Kross, who we won't talk about because he wasn't featured here, but Karrion Kross to win the Money in the Bank would be the ultimate push move and the right move for WWE going forward, in my opinion, as well. But speaking of going PLEs, we did have Backlash and all the results from there. So the first match, which was the Fatal 4 between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight, where we had Jeff Cobb's debut coming out there, which was a big surprise to everyone. No one really expected Jeff Cobb to come out. I know he's done a lot of things for New Japan Wrestling and he's out of contract, so he's going to be someone really interesting to add into this Bloodline feud here. So how they do that, I'm not too sure, but obviously Solo Sikoa needs some reinforcements and has picked up Jeff Cobb. And there might be them aligning together, or along the line when it eventually happens, Solo and Fatu getting their program. And how Jeff Cobb gets involved in this will be the ultimate question there. When I first think of Jeff Cobb coming into the ring, I'm finding that the perfect opponent for him when he returns would be Big Bronson Reed. Seeing them two go at it would be something spectacular. So let's see how it goes. I know he's on the older side as well. This is a good opportunity for him to showcase stuff, and he might be better than the Tongan brothers. So not the worst kind of debut, but again, we're waiting for that eventual Solo and Fatu feud and program, which I think will resurrect Solo a bit now. He's looking very inferior at the moment. But he does help Fatu get the victory here. To Fatu's disgust, I feel as though he wanted to win this without any distractions, but nevertheless, Solo gets involved. The spot with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre was fantastic. It appears as though Drew McIntyre did sustain an injury from that spot, but again, those two probably going to have one more match to kind of settle their feud, which is great. And as for LA Knight, he probably gets affected the most. He did take the fall, and it doesn't seem as though he is in contention or deserves contention for the United States Championship. So maybe he might just get inserted into the Money in the Bank match for repercussions, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. I think they missed the gun on his momentum a few years back when he was fighting Roman Reigns. It seems as though it's going to be really hard for him to get back into championship kind of conversations, especially when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. He does have the pop and the crowd, but there's a lot of people that are much more over him at the moment, and it's just a shame. The superstar depth is really high at the moment, and I think LA Knight is one of the victims of that. So a bit of a shame. We then get a really good match with Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, and as mentioned, Lyra Valkyria has improved significantly, and this feud has definitely helped that. She gets a surprise roll-up pin victory here, defeating Becky Lynch, and their program is certainly not over either. I sort of expected Bayley to come out for some reason, but that didn't happen. A lot of other superstars did come out, so obviously we probably would have got sick of that. But again, Lyra Valkyria has definitely arrived. She's definitely come out of her shell, as Michael Cole has mentioned, and Becky Lynch has done a really good job in this program to help elevate her. And yeah, it's very good that there's still some heel heat on Becky Lynch, attacking her after the match as well. So that program is definitely not over, and I'm still excited to see what will happen there. We then get the match between Dom Mysterio and Penta, where we have an interference from El Grande Americano, but before that, we're seeing leaks in Judgment Day with Finn Balor basically getting caught in the act, attempting for some reason to get a steel chair, which delayed the time for them to attack Penta and the ref to catch them out on the act. He then, however, still comes back out and does distract the referee. So like Solo Sikoa, Finn Balor ends up still helping Dominic Mysterio in winning the Intercontinental title. And again, we're going to be waiting for when they have their eventual feud as well. We just don't know when that will happen. But it looks like Penta and El Grande Americano are going to go at it, which is great to see. And that was obviously teased on an episode on Raw as well. So some interesting feuds for the future. Dominic Mysterio will continue to obviously win like this, which is great. And you can see that fans are really loving this. They are starting to really support Dom full faithfully now. And I think he doesn't need to be transitioned like Jacob Fatu. So both of them are in very similar positions where they're both heels and they're getting love from the crowd. I don't think their personalities and their characters need to change. I think they can remain the same, and the crowd, if they want to love him, they can choose to love him. Everyone's loving Dom because I feel like he deserves it. The way he's acted, the way his attitude is, and the way he's getting victories is going to be so cool to see, and all the fans are going to love seeing Dominic Mysterio maintain the title in so many different ways. We then get the match between Pat McAfee and Gunther, and for me, I think this is just going to be like a pretty much a Gunther's year of like legend killer runs. So first taking Pat McAfee down and pretty much destroying him. It was great to see Michael Cole sort of involved in the match at that point where he grabbed Gunther's foot and held him down, I really thought that Pat McAfee was going to get the victory and Michael Cole was going to get belted. But I'm glad that didn't happen. Gunther showed his dominance. He showed that why he is really the ring general and that he deserves to be up there with simply the best as well. But I think what's next for Gunther is, I think that match with Goldberg is going to happen. Goldberg says he's going to have one more match before he retires. I think that's going to be the next thing for Gunther there. Maybe in between that, a filler feud between him and Ludwig Kaiser. But again, he's yet to address what happened with Jey Uso, which he did mention in that face-to-face with Pat McAfee as well. So there's a lot for Gunther here. Obviously, as I mentioned, I wanted him to win the title and can maintain that at WrestleMania. But this sort of run, killing commentators and then now eventually probably going to kill a legend in the ring as Goldberg is something quite fascinating to watch. So we'll have to see what happens there. Gunther will definitely be back into getting titles in the future as well. I'm not concerned about that. But again, because I was thinking about this for the last week as well, I think it will be good to see how Gunther goes without actually a title. And I think that is a good way to really see if a superstar can still be relevant or not. Obviously, Gunther, most of his career, has been a champion. It will be good to see how he actually can be as a superstar without needing to fight for a title. And I'm not saying that Gunther should not have titles on his belt. I think Gunther should be going for titles. But again, it's an art to be a WWE superstar and create really good feuds and be a really good character without having a title involved. And I think this is going to be, the test for Gunther. And that might have been the argument that creative would have made for Gunther to drop the belt. And yeah, we're still locking onto his character. And with fights like this, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that we obviously want Gunther to win, which is what happened. But him bullying people and taking down the man is pretty good. And you could see that at the end, he did show respect for Pat McAfee. And that's probably the ultimate sign of kind of how Gunther's character is. If someone stands up, fights for him, he is going to respect them in the end. Then we get the main event, which was John Cena taking on Randy Orton. And every time these two get on the ring, it's just a flash in the past. And for me, I just remember as a kid hating Randy Orton and always supporting John Cena in these matches. I remember the big I Quit match and the Iron Man match back in 2009. Also that ladder match to determine the Unified Championships back in 2011, I would say. I don't even remember. But always a good spectacle between these two. Such a historic rivalry. So many things. But now in a completely different scope, with John Cena being the heel and Randy Orton being the face. He comes out to such a loud pop. I love that people sing Randy Orton's song. The loudest I did hear it was in when Randy Orton was in SmackDown. When SmackDown was in Bologna, that was a crazy pop. But St. Louis did a really good job in giving Randy his well-deserved pop on his song as well. John Cena comes into the ring. They went on for 28 minutes, which was also awesome, and this was just a perfectly executed match. Lots of finishes getting kicked out of. The spot where John Cena went for an AA and then that turned into an RKO, but the AA still had an impact on Randy Orton was awesome. I don't think I've seen that happen between the two of them. And correct me if I'm wrong if that spot has happened before, but seeing that live was really cool. You could see that Michael Cole was confused as to what happened. It very much was an AA that executed, but as the AA happened, Randy Orton hit the RKO as well. And then we had all the ring generals and kind of the executives come into the ring after the referee got hit with the belt, as John Cena did a ref bump, as the match had a ref bump there, as we all expected. Randy Orton crashing out and once again RKOing Nick Aldis. So that's going to lead to something for sure, because that's the third time that Nick Aldis has been RKO'd by Randy Orton. So definitely look out for that. It's great that they were able to kind of show a future for Randy Orton, because obviously John Cena is going to move on from this. And as Randy Orton was going to punt R-Truth, not R-Truth, so now I've just ruined it, but as he was going to punt John Cena, after all this happened and John Cena was on the floor, R-Truth did come out to save his childhood hero. And that led to John Cena hitting a nut shot. and hitting Randy Orton with the belt and getting the victory there. Similar as to how Cody Rhodes basically lost the belt. It's a great way for me. I really like the old school kind of way of John Cena hitting someone with the belt and winning the match as well. It does remind me back into the 90s days where matches were determined like that, when the belt was hit, when the ref wasn't looking, and then the ref was banged up and you could hear like a slow 1, 2, 3 count, which was awesome. John Cena maintains. We're not all surprised by this at all. We knew that John Cena was going to keep the title. And as it seems, that's going to be the last match we'll see between those two. Very early and very premature. But again, such a good spectacle when these two fight. And very grateful to be able to witness that in my lifetime too. We then get, after the match, the press conference where John Cena puts R-Truth through a table, which was quite underwhelming. I know that Triple H likes to put things like on the internet and kind of reveal the heel turn, but I would have loved to see R-Truth get put through a table or an AA in front of that hot crowd. It would have gave John Cena a lot more heat. Everyone loves R-Truth, but again, we'll have to see what happens on the next episode of SmackDown, or when John Cena appears next, maybe on Raw, to kind of address this. And it looks as though that R-Truth is going to get an opportunity to fight John Cena. So John Cena has put R-Truth in his plans, and most likely that's going to look like it's going to happen at Saturday night's main event, which will be pretty awesome to see. And I would love to see Truth fight for that title. I think John Cena does need like a filler arc as well with R-Truth here. Obviously, we know that R-Truth is not going to win the title, but if we can be made to believe that he has a chance, the crowd would go crazy. And that's kind of what we want. R-Truth getting a significant storyline is also something awesome as well. So hopefully them two have a match together. I don't know how they're going to do it, because I feel like R-Truth is going to be delusional and still kind of support John Cena. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But that's been your main event / small Raw / Backlash kind of review. Overall, I'll give Backlash a 6 or 7 out of 10. It was exactly what it needed to be after WrestleMania. A great PLE, a stock standard one, and not too disappointed with how the outcome's there. Very predictable, but totally understandable. But yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next week for a full main event review until we get to Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.